Are you going to introduce me though?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Hello, everybody. This is the webinar for webinar number 28. The title today is going to be Get in Front of More Prospects for Bigger Trust and Estate Planning Deals. We have a couple speakers here today, Michael Mulvihill, Vincent Muno, and George Vilar, I want to say.
Close.
I'll let you go ahead and take it away, Mike.
All right, well, thank you. So you can see my screen now? Or you can hear me anyway, but okay,
We
that's
can
what
hear
counts.
you. We can't see the
Okay, you can
screen.
hear me. You really don't need to see my screen.
Okay.
Okay, so we're good. All right. Well, anyway, I appreciate all you guys being on today. I became affiliated with the estate planning source through Jerry McCann probably 9 or 10 years ago. We traveled together. I spoke at her conference in Nashville maybe 6 or 7 years ago, but most recently, I spoke at the one that she had in Rapid City. And I know she's been gone a long time, and I miss her as well. But I was happy to get back in touch with the estate planning source and Bobby and find out all the good things that you guys are doing. But as you know, I'm with UFC, Universal Financial Consultants, and we're a marketing firm. We represent over 100 different insurance companies. We provide training and product support, and we design the strategies. But specifically, we do point of sale assistance if needed to close really large, complicated sales. And we've been doing this for over 35 years, which you'll hear soon from Vince Muno. And to stay in business and really to be that successful, you have to keep evolving. And it seems like for the last 10 years or so, this whole business has evolved toward trust and estate planning. And as you know, estate planning is not just for the ultra wealthy anymore. It's a critical conversation that every family needs to have, which is what you guys do. But a little bit about me. I joined Universal Financial Consultants about 10 years ago. But before that, I was president of an insurance division of a large broker dealer. We had about 800 reps around the country. I was responsible for signing up and establishing our index annuity policy. But even better that, I got to create kind of a conduit for all of the fixed products, the products that did not have to go through the broker dealer. And that's why I started using Vince Muno and his team. And that was back in 2008. And the evolution of this business has been so critical that we're at a point right now that it's really an exciting place to be. Now, out of all the things that we do, you'll hear we do two things very well. We've mastered how to get you in front of high net worth prospects and to close large trust sales, either with premium financing or self-funded. And even though interest rates have gone down a little bit, our business hasn't slowed down at all. But out of all the things you learn in this business and all the talent you have, they really don't mean anything unless you have prospects to see. And the whole time, 8 years I was with the broker dealer, they kept on saying, I don't need more products. I don't want more systems. Just get me in front of more people. That's all they wanted to know. And that's why I said we've mastered it, because we have George Vilar, the next speaker. He created Response Mail about 35 years ago. You've seen his bio. He's responsible for over 1.6 million seminars for reps like yourself all around the country. And his company knows where these people are, where the data is, where they live, how much they make, what their income is. And we have a system to get you in front of them. So he's going to share some of this research that's taken him 35 years to develop. So with that being said, to keep moving forward, I'm going to hand it off to George Vilar.
Well,
Okay?
George, hold on one second, Mike. I just want to say something before we get in there. So, as Mike said, our firm is Universal Financial Consultants, but we partnered up with a company called Simplicity. And Simplicity is the largest insurance marketing organization in the country. There's not even a close second, okay? And what they did was they acquired companies like ours, 80 of them year to date, and with insurance sales like over, 500 million, 600 million paid out to advisors all over the country. And, with pension plans and money under management over $11 billion and growing. So we joined them to have more resources, and we do have more resources to offer everybody. When Mike came on, I mean, I knew Mike, but I knew George actually before I knew Mike. I knew George Villar from Leading Response for probably 35 years. And as Mike said, he was the inventor of helping advisors get in front of more people through events. And he said seminars, but it's not just seminars. They have a strategy to get one-on-one appointments with people, and it's all through direct marketing. He's mastered it. We're going to play his video. Unfortunately, he just had surgery last week, so he's recovering in surgery, so he really wasn't up to doing it live. So we recorded his presentation. But if we do a summit, if you guys like what you hear, we have a summit that we do every other month. I think what's next, like October 27, 28, 29, something like that, at the end of October. And then George will be hopefully in rare form to present live. And you'll see, like we do these meetings, and we've been promoting estate planning seminars for advisors to do. And if you guys are attorneys and you don't want to do the presentations, we can partner you guys up with other advisors that are doing these presentations, all over the country. So we have two-pronged approach here. We have George is going to talk about marketing, and I'm going to talk about how you have solutions for some of the higher net worth clients. And when I say higher net worth clients, it's typically people that are 40 to 60 is the age group we're going for, that are worth 10 million or more. Then the second group we're going for is 1 million to 10 million, and it can really be any age. And I know a lot of people think of estate planning more for the older people, but we're getting people coming to these events, and half of the people are scheduling appointments, and half of those people are are doing their estate planning, and we're referring that business to attorneys. So with that, I'm going to play George's video, and then I'm going to talk about some of these higher net worth strategies for these wealthy clients. Thank you.
Good.
Are we already sharing our screen? Yes.
Good afternoon, folks, and thank you for logging on. I want to thank Bobby and Shalene for making this possible for the estate planning source. And Mike, thank you for the introduction. That was very kind words. We're going to share a lot of valuable information with you today of how to see more people and close bigger deals. We've been doing this for 30 years. We have a lot of information that we've gathered from top producers all over the country, and more importantly, from millions of consumers that have been part of this program. The name of the platform is called Marketing Advice to Millions. I'm the first speaker today. I'm handling all the marketing part of it. My name is George Villar. I'm the lucky founder of a company 30 years ago by the name of RME 360 out of Tampa, Florida. It's now called Leading Response. I sold the company a couple of years ago. I still remain a stockholder. And I was fortunate enough to discover some formulas in 1995 that have really changed the way a lot of advisors get in front of prospects. Now, what I'm going to share with you today is coming from 1.2 million campaigns. So we have a lot of response data that will help you promote yourself in your backyard very successfully. I specialize in new client acquisition. That's all I do. Okay, I focus on helping advisors get new clients. And everything that I recommend, everything I'm going to talk about today is based on data. If you're in the marketing world like I am, data is very important to make recommendations and prescriptions on how to market yourself. Marketing Advice in the Millions is designed to get you in front of prospects all year long and generate $1 million in production. Now, my program has been behind most every FMO broker dealer in the country. I'm here behind the scenes working with the top producers using the program that I'm going to share with you today. Now, the reason what I'm going to share with you today, the prospecting system, the reason it works is right in front of you. You can find articles like this at the internet all the time. I've been doing it for years that explain to you that your ideal audience, that 50-year and older audience, is very skeptical, very hard to reach because they have a lot of anxiety. Why do they have anxiety? When people turn 50, 55 years old, they start worrying about a couple of things, maybe two things: health and their finances. If you don't take care of those two things at 50 years and older, things can happen that can change a lot of people's life and your family. You have to take care of your medical issues. You get all the screens, all the x-rays, all your medicine. And then you have to take care of your finances, because if you don't, it can bring you to your knees. So the reason my marketing system works is people that want to meet with you don't know how to start the meeting. They don't know how to even approach you. They don't understand your product. They don't understand financial services. So the anxiety builds up. So what do? They retreat and procrastinate. We found a way to get them out of their home in front of you. And this is how. We bring people all over the country to dinner events. And before you get turned off by that, please hear me out. We've done over 1.2 million of these events. And I promise you, the people that you're targeting really enjoy meeting you this way. So we fill the room with people that are motivated, that have been procrastinating on making the decision or making the move to hire a financial advisor. A lot of them don't know how to do that. This setting allows you to bring people in front of you. Excuse me. You make a presentation. They see other people just like them in the room. So safety in numbers, very important. And when you speak, they're listening to ideas and concepts they've been thinking about and worrying about for years. So your job in these events, and we teach you and coach you 100%, your job is to make people comfortable and help them understand that it's not very difficult to hire a financial professional. You also have a chance to explain to them why it's important that you can help them with their money. Remember, you have to ignore the noise out there about seminars and food. I have the data. If you have any question, you call me or Mike Mulvihill, and we'll explain to you why the noise out there that seminars don't work is false. We have a lot of information and, more importantly, data to say the opposite. We have response data from all over the country every single month. We do around 800 to 1,200 events a month. So top producers and consumers are giving us information when they respond to give you the formulas and the recommendations how you have to get in front of them. Listen, after 29 years, it's extremely obvious to me. Every time I've met a top producer, they spent the money to get to that level. It costs money to market yourself, okay? It's not easy. But if you find the formula that works every single time, every month, or whenever you do it, it's easy to invest in it, because proven marketing, top producers, when they find it, they do it over and over again. They don't stop, because the return on the money is very good. So again, you have to spend some money in marketing to become a top producer and get in front of people. Here's my value proposition. I will build a predictable and repeatable model for you that every time you do it, I will fill the room with people that have assets. And more importantly, the reason this has been working for 30 years, and listen, it's hard to find a program out there in the industry that has worked for 30 years. I told you earlier, the anxiety that people had is a reason why people show up. They're looking for an opportunity to meet with you or hire a financial professional. And here's your side of the story. If you can make 300 to 700% return on your money when you invest in marketing, it's going to be a very good deal for you. You probably make a living getting people, your customers, around 6 to 10% return on their money. I specialize in helping you getting 300% or more on your money. So I'm a good investment. Here's how it works. We target middle America in your backyard. We have all the addresses and contact information of households that have $250,000 to $3 million in assets. We identify who they are, and we target and we invite them. We do a map of your area. We show you a 45-minute drive time to get to your event. And then we send you a menu of all of your zip codes in your area, all the cities, and tell you exactly how many households are in each zip code. And if you look at the top, we know their asset levels. This is the menu. This is the report that I use to target your audience in your backyard. We mail around 8,500 invitations to consumers that fit that $250 to $3 million profile in your backyard. We do direct mail. We invite them with an invitation. We target direct mail. And we know the information at around 94 to 93% accuracy. Facebook ads. We do direct mail and Facebook combined to maximize the response that people that are online and people that respond very positively in the mailbox. Believe it or not, 55 years and older people, they respond more on the direct mail part of it because they're used to opening mail for years, and everybody has a mailbox and everybody checks the mail. So we have to do a very good job of marketing through the direct mail marketing and Facebook ads. So we mail, Facebook ads, we take all the calls, all the reservations, and we fill the event. That simple process has been done over 1 million times, and again, around 1,200 to 800 times a month. These are the invitations we send out. We know how to write copy. We are direct marketers. We understand what draws people in, headlines, bullets, and we have a lot of copy, a lot of headlines that we change all the time with current events. So we know how to write the invitation to get people interested. We designed the invitation to look like Hallmark cards, very personalized. The people's name was right on it. John Thompson is mentioned throughout the whole presentation, the whole invitation. And as you can see, the design is very important to get their attention in the mail and get them to respond. Why the food? The food has just been part of it, like in every other social gathering, food is involved. There's comfort, safety in numbers, like I told you earlier. And for some reason, every holiday, every celebration we have, food is involved. Weddings, receptions, conferences, food is involved for a reason. This is no accidental thing. It happened to me with marketing. I was able to make people comfortable going to restaurants, sitting in a big room with other people, listening to a presentation. We use these restaurant brands because they build their location where people can afford their menus. So we follow that path. You can write 50% off or more of the food at tax deductible expense, business expense. So you shouldn't be too concerned about the food cost. Now, when you do the mailing, there's a portal. The portal allows you to access and see who's responding to your invitation. The name, address, phone number, all the contact information when they call in is put into the portal where you get access to it. So you get to see who's coming to the event, how much money they have, where they live, what kind of house they live in. Everything is displayed to you in the portal before you actually speak at the event. One of the pages on the portal summarizes things for you. If you mouse over the circle, it tells you of all the people that are showing up, all the households, how much money each household has. So you have an idea, and usually you're going to get in front of a crowd, an audience that have between $15 and $30 million in assets. So you're always speaking in front of people that have money. We help you kind of market yourself in the area. We know how to get you to brand yourself. All the materials that you need for the seminar, we prepare them for them. This is an example that we did for Money Concepts. We have all the materials that you need to hand out, brochures, landing page, everything that you need to hold the event. We ship it to you before the seminar. We don't charge you anything. This is our building in Clearwater, Florida, 4-story building. The second floor to your left here is an auditorium. We invite 35 to 40 advisors every other month from all over the country to come in for 2 days and experience our way of doing business. We teach you how we present. We give you some information and sales ideas and concepts. And you actually get to go to a live dinner seminar, watch one of our advisors present in front of a live audience. You have an idea how we do the actual seminar marketing. Now, my next speaker, my partner, Vince Muno, I will tell you that if you run into people, households, whether you do marketing with us or on your own, and they have more than $1 million, you have to have the products, the strategies, and the wording. How do you talk to them? How do you present to them? You cannot find a better coach in the country. 38 years experience doing what we call premium financing and flex programs. These are strategies designed for millionaires. In your business, or when you do marketing with me, you're gonna bump into millionaires, million to 5 million to $10 million people. You have to have a process to talk to them. This is gonna explain to you how we help advisors not only reach those people and connect with them, is we help you through the whole sales process to close those bigger deals. And when I say bigger deals, these premium financing, these flex programs that Vince's gonna talk to you about, you're talking about commissions of $80,000 to to $200,000 per case. And again, the most important part, we do it all for you. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed the presentation on the marketing side. Please call Mike Mulvihill if you want to report in your backyard of how many people had how much money per zip code. It's called a Market Insight Report. I'll be glad to provide that for you. Again, Mike will set up some one-on-one Zoom meetings with me if you want more information on the marketing side. But please pay attention to Vince. This guy can help you make a lot of money quick by helping you invest your money, invest your time in talking to the high net worth people. Vince, you're on stage now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
we're going to talk about strategies used by wealthy families, America's wealthiest families, and it all involves estate planning. When we do these seminars and these dinner events that George is talking about, we're finding out that 70-80% of the people that attend don't have any planning done at all. No wills, no trusts, no power of attorneys, nothing. So when we're leading with that, with that information, we're getting their attention and we're getting the appointments with them. And for the people that are attorneys, their appointment ratio is much higher than the financial planner. I was doing these meetings with George. I'm 63. I was doing them when I was in my mid-20s. And I stopped doing them and started getting more into these bigger cases that we'll be talking about here in a minute. But it's been working for a long time. We're recruiting people every day to do these meetings, and we see the results. So with that said, I kind of want to lead into, how we get their attention. Sometimes I speak at family offices where there's super wealthy people, and, the super wealthy people, and I'm going to get into that presentation first. And when I say super wealthy, people 10 million and above, after I kind of show you how we set the stage for those people, we're going to talk about the people from 1 million and up. Okay. And what we find the best prospect for this strategy I'm going to share with you now, they're between ages of 40 and 60, and they're business owners. And a lot of these business owners, when we're reviewing their programs and their estate plans, or not their estate plans, but their portfolios, we find that they don't have an estate plan, a lot of them. And a lot of them, they don't have any money in the markets. They have most of their money in real estate or their own businesses. And I'm talking about people that are worth, I was just working on a case with somebody from Ocala that the advisor met at a seminar. He was worth $35 million. Most of his wealth is, he has like 3 homes, maybe the 35 million, maybe 3 or 4 million liquid. The rest is in his business and his real estate. And with no plan. And in fact, in this particular case, it was actually a second marriage. And with the second marriage, it always invites opportunities for planning, because when there's no planning and everything goes to the second spouse, and he had 2 kids from his previous wife who passed away, she gets the whole estate when he dies with no planning, then what could happen is his kids can get disinherited. And when we were talking to them, they were telling us about the problems that they were having. He was having problems with his wife. He said, we never argue about anything. I've been married to her for 16, 17 years, been very supportive, but she had 3 kids from her previous marriage. I had 2 kids from my marriage, my previous wife that passed away. I want to leave more money to my kids. I want to help her kids out too, but I want my kids to get a little more. She felt different. She felt that all 5 kids should get, equal 20%. So when he met us, we said, listen, there's a solution for this. You set up a trust, an AB trust. When you die, we'll set up a Q-tip trust. And that means everything becomes irrevocable. We'll give the 20% to each of the kids like your wife wants. A happy wife is a happy life. Then we'll set up an irrevocable trust. And with the irrevocable trust, we'll fund it with bank financing. So instead of you putting your money in the trust, we'll put the bank's money in the trust, and we'll buy an extra $10 million estate. And his out of pocket was like $70,000 a year for 15 years. So for, $1 million, whatever that comes out to, a little more than $1 million a year. I mean, $1 million over 15 years, he's buying $10 million. The IRR on that was like 15% tax free. And I'm going to share with you how that works. So think of this. He didn't even have a will. He had a trust from his previous wife that was way outdated, but he only had a couple pieces of property. And so most of his business, other properties, and his other assets were not in that old trust. We set up a new trust. When he dies or the wife dies, everything becomes irrevocable. So none of the kids are going to get disinherited. His kids won't get disinherited. Her kids won't get disinherited. Then we satisfied her. Now she's happy. Then we set up an irrevocable trust for his kids to get $10 million. And that $10 million, if he lives his life expectancy, grows to like over $20 million. So these are just some of the stories that we get people interested, because you'd be surprised how many wealthy people, it's a second marriage. And second marriage, they have the same problem that that guy had. So it's a way to, set up not just, estate planning to avoid probate, but it's also a way to balance the estate, or to, take care of some of those family dynamics that people have a hard time talking about. So what we're going to talk about now is, rich versus wealthy. And the big difference is it's not about how much you make, but how much you keep. Okay, so everybody knows this stadium, Joe Robbie. I don't know if you guys know this, but Joe Robbie was an attorney. He was a real estate attorney, and he had a big portfolio of real estate. He also owned the Miami Dolphins. When he bought the Dolphins, I don't know what he paid for. It was like 30 million, 40 million, cheap. When he died at a young age of 72, he had 11 kids, first wife, and he thought he had an estate plan set up. And he had it all set up, to defer the tax. So when the wife died, the AB trust, kids were going to, family trust, kids were going to have the exemption in that, or the credit, in that trust, and the balance of the estate in the mom's trust, in the marital trust. But the mom didn't think that her trust would be enough for her lifestyle. So she wanted everything, and she wanted to settle the estate. And because she wanted to do that, the family owed like almost $100 million in taxes. And it was a bad time in real estate. They couldn't sell the properties. It was like interest rates were real high in the 80s, the double-digit interest rates, and things weren't selling. And the only asset that they can come up with to sell was the Miami Dolphins football team. So they sold it for the $100 million. I think they owed like $60 million in taxes. She got her extra $40 million minus, capital gains. And, that was that story. So think of Joe Robbie, if he would have met one of you people or came to one of these events and learned about estate planning, and would have got a little more detail of how they could have created some liquidity in irrevocable trust to take care of that tax. They would have still owed the Miami Dolphins. And you know what the Miami Dolphins would be worth today? $7.5 billion. These football teams have gone crazy the last 5 to 10 years in valuations. The Denver Broncos sold for over $5 billion to the Walmart guy. So not that the Joe Robbie's family is probably hurting, but this is what you call real wealth. And if they would have came to one of our events, we would have showed them, hey, listen, you can give the mom what she wants, set up an irrevocable trust. You don't have to fund it. We'll get big banks to fund it. We're getting financing at 5.5% today. We can get someone as much money as they can qualify for. And we're funding these new insurance vehicles that are making anywhere from 6.5 to 8, 9% returns. And that's assuming the market is down 30% of the time and only up 70% of the time. So they're called index life policies. I'm not going to get the details on the product, but just know there's like tremendous leverage. You make money when the markets are up. You never lose money when the markets are down. If I go back 25 years, the historical returns are like 8.5% on these vehicles. And we're showing people how we can get as much money as they can qualify for them on much money as they can qualify for. And we can get insurance in the, with the bank financing. So I always bring up this story when I'm talking to wealthy people at events, the Rockefellers versus the Vanderbilts. Vanderbilt was worth $185 billion at the turn of the century. Rockefeller is worth $340 billion in today's dollars. Two wealthiest guys by far in the whole, in the whole country, probably the whole world at that time. Two different plans. Vanderbilt had no plan. A couple marriages later, he leaves his wealth to his great granddaughter, Gloria Vanderbilt. I think she had like 6 failed businesses. 4 or 5 different marriages. Leaves her son, Anderson Cooper, $1.2 million. Now, Rockefeller set up a dynasty trust, and every time somebody was born and they were a new beneficiary of the trust, they put an insurance policy on them. And then when that person passed, the money they took out was replaced with an insurance vehicle. So the Dynasty Trust had a perpetual growth. He left his great granddaughter, same age as Anderson Cooper, $3.5 billion. He had 150 great granddaughters, just like Ariana Rockefeller, or beneficiaries of his estate, that he left anywhere from $3 billion to $4 billion to. Okay, and how they do that? With planning. So what's the biggest wealth destroyer? No planning. So we educate people, traditional planning versus trust planning. And you guys all know this, if you have the trust, no probate, no delays or minimal delays, we're going to, avoid, court control, attorneys, all that stuff. But the main thing is we're going to give both estates a unified credit of up to $15 million now. So we can transfer $30 million with cost of living, maybe, whatever it is, on the $30 million. People don't know this and they lose it. And what we do is we're talking to people that have over $30 million. And then we tell them for advanced planning, you set up irrevocable trust. And with irrevocable trust, the biggest hangup is the matriarch or the breadwinner, he can't be his own trustee in an insurance trust. Because if he's his own trustee, the IRS says, if you control it, then you own it. And we're going to pull it back in your estate. So a lot of times they hesitate because these guys want to stay in control. So our solution is you keep your money, you keep controlling, keep doing what you do. When I ask these guys what kind of returns they make on their investments, it's not uncommon for them to say 20, 30%. We say, keep doing that. We'll fund the irrevocable trust with bank financing at today's rates like 5.5%. And the vehicle that we're funding, that's going to make average, say 7%. So you're actually going to make money funding your estate plan. And then that funding is going to get mortality gains. Like you put in $1 million, you get like $10 million worth of benefits. So we're going to show you some of that math. This is a program that we have called the waterfall effect. Same concept, just like the Rockefellers. We have generation one grandparents. They get a policy for the kids to be the beneficiary, and then the grandkids to be beneficiaries. And this is just an example where we had like, I can't remember what the numbers were, but it was like, I think it was, they put up like, I can't remember, it's a few $1 million of collateral. And in the example, we had policies, we were paying $135,000 a year for this right here, right in front of me, $135,000 a year for 15 years. That bought insurance of $32 million on generation two, can give them an income at age 60 to 90 of $31 million, or a death benefit to the kids of $32 million. And then we bought policies on the grandkids from the income on the generations two policies for $62 million. And when you look at the whole concept, we turned $135,000 for 15 years into over $135 million of huge benefits for 3 generations. Now, what we do, and I'm kind of jumping all over the place here. Can I just click on the button now?
What
The
button?
landing page, is it up?
Yes, if you hit escape, it'll get.
No?
Yeah, and then it's one of those tabs. There you go.
Can you see it?
Yep.
All right, so we put together this landing page. And on this landing page, we have these little videos. This is a whole presentation. We can put your logos on. As George said, we make the presentations. I've probably done about 1,000 of these presentations over the last 30 years. I actually did one of these programs myself 13 years ago. And in this presentation, I have a little 15-minute video that we play. I have a 15-minute video. I have a 2-minute video that I play, and it just explains what premium financing is. I think I'm going to play it. Yeah, just to give you a flavor of what this looks like.
We can't hear the video.
You can't hear it? You can't hear it? Okay, all right, then we're not going to play it. But the idea is that this is a video explaining how this whole program works. We have calculators in here. We talk about, getting tax-free dollars. Most people don't have any tax-free dollars in their portfolios or in their investments. It's either tax deferred in retirement plans, or it's in real estate where they keep doing 1031 exchanges, and either they're going to die with the property, or then when eventually they have to pay the tax. Now, we have a little video here talking about the history of taxes. And one thing that's really cool is we pull up this debt clock and we show people, the government's out of control with their spending. Now, Trump just came up with this whole big, beautiful bill, and he says, we're going to save we have all these tax savings. But in reality, all he did was keep taxes what they've been for the last 8 years. He didn't save them. He just stopped them from increasing. But this is going on every day. We have $37 trillion in debt. The government's pulling in $5.4 trillion, spending almost 4 trillion. So they're spending almost 2 trillion more than what we're pulling in. There's 342 million U.S. citizens in the country. That's that number in the middle. There's 113 million U.S. citizens that file tax returns and pay nothing. So more than 50% of the population don't contribute a dime toward this budget, toward this deficit, or toward the taxes, or toward all the bills the government's creating. So where's the government going to get the money? They got to get it from the people that have it. And one of the ways, although we know they increased the estate tax exemption, one of the ways is through the estate tax exemption. And we have this calculator here. And let's say we had someone 50 years old that was married. And let's just say there were $25 million that I have here, and their estate's only going to grow by 6%. And they're pulling in $1 million, and they're spending 500. I'll show the people, here's your estate each year. In 10 years, your $25 million estate with the income that you're making can grow to $47 million at 6%. Government says with inflation and indexing, you can pass on $35,800,000 with no tax. But the tax on everything over $35 million is $4.5 million. And the tax on your IRA is $752,000. So they would owe $5.2 million in taxes in 10 years. A lot of times these people don't have the liquidity. Most of their properties in the business or in real estate that's not liquid, so they don't have the $5.2 million. And if we go on to life expectancy, 25 million can grow to over 100 million. Now the tax is 18, and 2, it's over $20 million. So if they don't have the 20 million, and maybe they don't have to worry about, their kids are still going to get 89 million. So they may say, you know what, out of 109, my kids get 89, they're fine. Let them worry about the 20. But they may have to sell assets at a fire sale, and that 20 may cost them 40. Or they got to go borrow the money from a bank, and the 20 may cost them, 30 with principal and interest. So our solution is we set up the irrevocable trust, and we fund it with bank financing, and I can probably put aside $500,000 on a younger person, 50 years old, and 10 million, start off with 10, that will grow to 20 million by the time they're, life expectancy. So that's kind of a cool thing. Then we have little videos showing how we get the credits. I'm not going to get into all the mechanics of how these things work, but I do want to show you just like an example of a presentation, how the numbers look when you add them up. Can you see this okay, Mike?
Yeah, a little bigger. That's okay.
So here's a 50-year-old, $10 million, $800,000. We go borrow $8 million from the bank, $800,000 a year. This rate's a little higher than what it was today. I'm going to have the client pay $55,000 out of pocket for 15 years. And what we're showing is that the client, you have a loan that builds up, but every year when you borrow the money's in the policy. You borrow the money's in the policy. Every year the money's there. This is your loan. Here's your cash in your policy. Here's your loan. Here's your cash in your policy. But look to the far right. This is your net death benefit, net of the loan after we pay the bank off. So 10 million actually grew to age 85 to 25 million. That's a 12.5% tax-free IRR on the money you put out, $55,000 for 15 years, to your family, income tax-free. That's not even counting the estate tax that you're saving. So we can get into more details on this if you guys are interested. We have another presentation that we use, and it's for the, we call it the Flex Plan. And this is the same concept, borrowing money, funding these new index programs, creating liquidity. Everyone has different needs. I'm just going to show you a sample of a 45-year-old. Let me blow this up. This is for the people 1 million above. So let's say someone was putting 50 grand away for 5 years, $250,000. At 7%, any investment that's taxable. At 65, it would go to almost 600. If I asked the computer, give me an amortized rate that you can pull out after taxes and zero out this account at each 100, they'd come up with 33,713 with a 7% return. I put the same $250 over 5 years into these new, improved index life policies where you get the credits when the markets are up. You never lose money when the markets are down. We start off with a death benefit of $800,000. It grows to $1 million. To make the policy real efficient, I'm going to cut that death benefit down in half to 5. The cash in the policy keeps growing. You get a little more than you do over here, but this gives you tax-free income of $64,000 for the rest of your life, and then at like age 85, you got a death benefit over $500,000. Now, this money can be used for death. You can also use it if you can't perform 2 of your living activities and you end up in a nursing home or you need home health care. You can pull out up to $1 million of that death benefit while you're alive. So here's where the little magic comes in. I do the same 250 that I'm showing you over here in your 7% investment, but then at the end of 5 years, I go to a bank and I put another $1 million in, $100,000 over 10 years. Now I'm using leverage. I'm borrowing money at 5. I'm showing I'm making like 6.5, only a 1% leverage on the arbitrage. My death benefit starts off higher, keeps on growing, but here's the cool part. At age 65, 20 years, I'm pulling out $110,000 a year tax-free. If I live to be 85, my family gets over $1 million, and I begin almost 4 times the income of any investment at 7%. And there's always a need. When you're doing estate planning, you're setting up trust, and you're talking to clients about, creating assets for the kids. Or I had a client that had 6 grandkids, and they did something similar to this. And they said, okay, I don't want my kids to get the benefit. I want my grandkids to get it, but I don't want them to get a lump sum. I want it to be all bulletproof when I'm gone and when they inherit it. So the one trust that this policy was in split up into 4 different trusts, and each kid had $300,000 in change in a trust. And on their birthday, grandma said, I want them to get 5% of the $300,000, $15,000 check for the rest of their lives, tax-free. Okay? And we're able to do that with this program. So there's cool things that you can do with estate planning and this leverage premium life planning. So I want to go back to the shared screen, Carly. How do I do that?
Hey, Vince, let me make one quick comment.
Yeah.
When you look at that last screen, it shows $50,000 a year going in for 5 years, but I've done them for clients that only want to put in $20,000. You can be pretty flexible. And I have another one that's putting $250,000 in. So it's very flexible. You don't have to qualify for it with lots of millions of dollars of net worth, but it's really good for almost insurance planning. You just need to break it down and see the numbers, and we're happy to show it to you.
Yeah, so in the traditional financing, I say, usually it's up to age 60, 10 million or more, annual income 500, because this is all for bank financing.
Right.
Wait just one second. Okay, sorry. But for the other financing that Mike was talking about, it's up to $1 million in net worth. So that just qualifies just about everybody. Or you don't have to have $1 million net worth, or you have to have an income, husband and wife, $400,000 or more to qualify with the insurance companies and the banks. But again, we use these programs to, to go with their estate plan. And when we do the discovery, we're asking questions, we're finding out about, grandkids and maybe not giving them a lump sum because maybe they spend money too freely and the parents want to have a little more control. So they want to make everything irrevocable and bulletproof. And then, divorce is a big thing. So if the assets are bulletproof, then the grandkid can't get the money. When they get married and they're just getting the cash flow, their spouse can't touch that inheritance ever if they get divorced. So these are some of the things that people are really interested in. We have a calculator showing how we get these returns and how we manage these loans. This stuff gets complicated. We do everything for you. You do the presentation. If you have clients now, we can profile your book. We can look at clients that you have, but we do annual reviews every single year for the next 15 years. We show the client, this is where you are. This is what we projected. How are we doing? And we confirm that what their goals were when they did it. And we make sure that we pick in the optimal allocations. We have different marketing tools. We have this digital marketing program that I was actually an investor in called Snappy Kraken, and we can keep your brand downloading your name. We can build web pages. We can build a brand where we have like over 300 different campaigns that you can drip market on and keep your name in front of your prospects. We have a program called Biz Equity. We can do business evaluations, for businesses that don't know, that's their biggest asset. And a lot of them don't have it protected or have a plan for legacy planning. And again, all your documents and estate planning come into this. Then we can do luxury experiences. If you have, 10 clients that fit the profile, that are business owners, that are, worth 10 million or more, we'll come in and do a presentation, invite them all to a nice dinner. We'll pick up the tab because we know that when we do these programs, we can help people. We know that we're not going to help everybody. We know we're going to help some of the people in the room. And then estate docs is like everything you guys do. So this is some of our team. We have 41 people in our back office in Clearwater, Florida. We work on 150 of these designs every single day. We do these cases but not for all new prospects. I would say about 120 of them are the reviews that we're doing for existing customers. So what we invite you to do, you can take a snapshot of this barcode, QR code, and this will give you this thing called a Premium Life Plus Opportunity Workbook. And when you open the book up, it gives you the ideal profile of what a prospect looks like. And then you can write down 10 people that may come to your mind. And all you have to say to these people is, we've been working on your estate plan. Some people set up advanced planning with this, like irrevocable trust. And I was on a webinar and I met these guys, and they specialize and work with clients just like you. And they have a way where you can fund these trusts with bank financing and get IRRs like 12 to 15% tax free. And that's all you have to say. Then we'll do the presentations for you. We'll do the fact finder. We'll make the we'll do everything from getting the applications to picking up the check. And if you get licensed, we'll share the revenue with you. So I encourage everyone to take a picture of this, or maybe you just want to help your clients. You don't want to make the revenue, but it's definitely a great opportunity. So with that, I want to thank everybody for giving us the opportunity to share our services. We have the marketing with leading response, get you in front of a lot of prospects and people for estate planning. And when you get those bigger clients, we can help you with some solutions to create liquidity when their families are really going to need it. So with that, I want to again thank everybody. I encourage you to take a
Thanks, Vince.
and reach out to Mike.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Vince. What great information as always. Every time I see it, I learn something new all the time. Well, this took a little longer than 30 minutes, but I thought it was great, valuable information. You heard George talk about all the marketing, the things that we can do. Of course, you saw what Vince can do. His number one job as mine is just to help generate. I think if you start working with this, I don't see why I couldn't generate $500,000 in revenue pretty quickly from all the stuff that we have. But kind of as an offer before we end, I want to remind you of a couple of things. One, if you email Shalene or if you call me at 901-230-3894, again, 901-230-3894, George's company, our company, will provide that demographic report where we look at the zip codes and your area and the households and the income and the revenue, and show you how much, even at the end of it, we show you how much potential revenue you could possibly make with this type of demographic research. It takes a little bit of time, but we're happy to give you your individual ones. The other is, like Vince talked about, I love this landing page. I mean, I was given presentations long before that, but the landing page covers so much and it's so easy to follow. I've used it a lot. Business owners follow it so easily. They understand the flow of money and taxes. And when you identify all of the issues that they're thinking about before they even bring it up, it leads to a wonderful close right at the end because of the numbers. And I'll be happy to give you your own personalized one with your logo up the top so you can see how well it works. But the other thing is I want to review the landing page with you and do a one-on-one and go over it from head to toe, because it's good information. It's a little bit complicated, but it's easy to follow. And by doing that, I also want you to take advantage of the offer that Vince made. And I want to invite you to come down to our summit. That's going to be in October, but it is limited in number, but let's talk about it rather quickly if you like to. And I think you would be fascinated with the results. So I guess that's all. Again, my number, 901-230-3894. And if you need anything, a comment, just email Shalene which I know you know, and we'll get back in touch with you. Again, thanks for showing up.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Shalene.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you for everybody who showed up, and thank you guys for speaking today.
Okay, bye-bye.